support missions across the world. In the last 6 years, in growing ways, we've risen to meet invitations and challenges to support missionaries who are doing various work of building God's kingdom to many different countries and in continents around the globe. We have recently been introduced to, in some very practical and some very personal ways, and also encouraged to support a mission which is much closer to home, which is also a very good thing. You have probably heard of Fellowship Mission, and if you haven't heard about it in church, you've probably read about it in the newspaper because it's been the subject of some attention over the last couple of years as the mission has been seeking and has now found a home from which to launch its ministry into this community. Fellowship Mission is directed by and really led in practical and spiritual ways by Eric Lane, who came to this community several years ago from Muncie, left a big-time job with a big-time family construction corporation, came here actually to build WCC. And they liked him so much at WCC that when the building was built, they said, "Why don't you stay and work for us?" Which he did. Until he and his wife really sensed that God was calling them into something else. That being Fellowship Mission, which is a ministry aimed at providing opportunities and shelter and comfort and encouragement and support for men and women in transition. And so in a moment I'll introduce Eric. But before I do, I'll tell a story about Eric. And Eric, I apologize going into this because I can't remember if the punchline came from you or Denny Wilson. But several weeks ago, I'm in Kosciuszko Superior Court 3. If you didn't know it, I wear a lawyer's hat part of the time too. And I'm in Superior Court 3 representing a gentleman in a criminal case. And he had already pled guilty, and we're now back for sentencing, which is that moment in a guy's life when he finds out whether he's going to jail, and if so, for how long. And the prosecutor had already gone, and I got my client on the stand, and the prosecutor had already been going on and on in relation to this guy about, you know, Judge, if you let him out without going to jail, what's he going to do? I mean, where's he going to go? Who's going to be there to hold him accountable, to be encouraging him and supporting him? He's probably just going to go out there and turn around and he'll do something to be right back again. Well, I had happened to know that this guy had been at Fellowship Mission before he was arrested. And he had told me that's where he had planned to go back to when and if he was released. And as I turned around and looked in the gallery behind me, there I saw Eric Lane and Denny Wilson and a couple of other guys there supporting not only that ministry, but other ministries in the community. And I was just overwhelmed to see their show of support for this guy. And so when it became my turn to address the judge, I said, "Judge, the prosecutor is properly asked, where will his support come from?" And I would submit to you that it's sitting right there in the form of these men who represent ministries which are vital in supporting and giving men and women a second chance and a place to go and to turn to when they really need it most. So when the hearing was over, Eric, I think, approached me and said, "Doug, that was beautiful. But you should probably know that we were actually here for the next guy." That was you. Oh, Denny? Okay. Well, Eric Lane, come on up and tell us a little bit more about Fellowship Mission. How about a hand for him and my story?
Actually, we were there for him, and that was Denny. That wasn't me. I greatly appreciate you guys letting me come in and share a little bit about the journey we're on and kind of where we came from and where we're headed. It's been an interesting, going on almost 2 years now. Back in the spring, well, a year and a half, spring of 2010, we actually opened a transitional house for men across from Marsh. We don't hide them. I'll tell you where they're both at today. So we have a house across the street from Marsh, and we started out with 7 men. in April 1st of 2010, and it was really birthed from if everybody heard about Project Refuge, that was during the winter months. It was between the Salvation Army and some other churches, and we got to participate in that. And through that, we got to know the men and women that had come through the doors, and just felt God calling us to minister and care for the individuals in our own community more and more, because we got to know them and they became family. Not just friends, they became family to us. And so in April 2010, March, the Project Refuge was over. I mean, I had volunteers coming to me saying, what are we going to do? Are we just going to shut the door and tell them to go out and we'll see you next winter? And so we were blessed to have someone in the community let us rent their home, and that's what we're doing now, across the street from Marsh. Like I said, in 2010 we started with 7 guys. Last night we had 18 in the house. And then I'll jump around because I'm not really a public speaker, but I'm going to ask you guys to ask questions. I like the interactive part of it too, because I know there's a lot of questions in the community, and we want to educate the community on the individuals we serve and what the need and what's actually happening in our community. So jumping forward to December of 2010, we were going to start a larger shelter. We didn't have any women at that point, but we were getting calls about women. So we started searching for a women's house. Now, the 2 prior years, we only had probably around 4 women that showed up at Project Refuge for the winter months. And we started out December 18th in the house on North Buffalo Street. It's the old Heartline Pregnancy House, if anybody knows where that's at. It's 2 houses back from Center Lake. We started off with one lady who was pregnant, by the way. So 4 months later, we had our first child born in the shelter. But we started out with one lady, and last night we had 9 women and 6 children in the house. Since December 18th of 2010 to last night, we've had over 131 different individuals through our doors. We've also served 24 children inside the houses. Like I said, we house men at the men's shelter, and then the women and kids stay at the women's shelter. We've not had the scenario of a single dad yet. We've had calls, but nothing ever they haven't shown up on our door. So that's what we do. I mean, really the basis of the whole ministry. And my wife, she was supposed to be here, by the way, but we have a sick son at home this morning. People ask her, what do you guys do? And it's simple. We love on people. I mean, it can be very complicated, but when you get down to the root of it, it's very simple. We love on people. We try to help them out in different ways. I know a lot of people probably read about us trying to find a building. We were looking at the Trinamic property and a lot of money. We weren't ready to really take on that endeavor yet. It's just my wife and I right now running it. We do have some house managers at both homes, but we're really looking towards the future and the longevity of it, and it's not just how many people we can house, but how many people can we actually help move forward. So we're actually getting ready to, at the beginning of the year, somewhere late January, 1st of February, going to launch our stewardship program for each individual that comes in our home. We're going to work with local agencies to help them in whatever area of need that they have, but also in serving and job placement as well. Something that we feel very strongly about is people should give back, and the individuals in the home will have that opportunity to serve in our community. We're making different contacts right now, and everybody that we've contacted is very excited about it. So yeah, it's just that's what we want to see. We don't want to see them in, we do, because we just fall, it's a family kind of atmosphere, so we don't want them to leave, but yet we do, because we want to see them back out there healthy, out there on their own, in a stable, safe environment. So yeah, that's kind of the Cliff Notes version of what's happening right now. I have, like Doug said, we moved up here. My background's commercial construction, not social work. So I don't consider this social work really. It's just ministry work, and it's something God has called us to. We love it, and yes.
Okay, I'll ask you a question.
Go for it.
It wasn't cold last night.
No.
And you were full.
We have been running about 95% capacity for 4 months.
What happens when it gets cold?
That's when we get the mats and cots out. We're not going to let anybody freeze.
Have you got some examples of people moving forward?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have several. Yeah, we have men and women both. It's interesting. We got one guy that keeps coming back in his semi. He'll park over at the Marsh parking lot and come in and check up on us, and yeah, it's pretty cool to see. We have different scenarios. We have some people that have been in this position for a long time. We have some people that are in the position for the very first time, and yeah, so also the age, it's the age range. We've had anywhere from 18 years to 67-year-old in the shelter, and well, I should say newborn because we've had the yes. That's why my wife was supposed to be here. She takes care of volunteers, but that's okay. I think I can answer. Okay, I'll go with the support. Right now, we do not, I know we've heard it in the paper and different comments about tax money. We do not take any government, any state or federal dollars. We're a faith-based organization. We are a 501c3. That was a stance we took before we even formed. I do have a board, but that's been the drive. Once we do that, our hands are tied in a lot of ways. Probably about 90 to 92% of our income comes from individuals. The rest are from churches, local foundations. You know, we write grants to local foundations, and some corporations here in town have also helped out. Programs, like I said, right now with 33 individuals, it's hard, and I dislike the word caseworker, just because it's ministry. But still, it's hard to do case work because of so many people, so many different needs. So that's why we're trying right now to get to a position where we can bring on people, so we can do that. Now, what we do help them with now is we help them with medical. We try to help them find jobs. That's something that there's a lot of people that are uneducated as far as in the community as to why the guests in our homes can't get jobs. If you don't have a permanent residence, you don't have a bank account, you don't have a cell phone, and your prior criminal history, people won't hire you. So it's tough, and we have a lot of people that are trying to change their lives. Granted, we've had some that don't want to, but we have a lot of them that do, and unfortunately their past is still stuck with them, and that's all people look at sometimes, and it's hard, and that's the part I really dislike, because I think everybody is deserving of a second chance. I know I've had my second, third, and fourth chance in life, and I believe each one of them that walk through the doors deserves it as well. So that's yeah. Volunteers. Do we have a need for volunteers? Yeah, with just my wife and I and the house managers, that's why she was going to be here. 5 nights out of the week, we have food volunteers that come in and actually bring meals to both homes for the men and the women. That is a huge, that just for us to not have that expense helps us out. But it also, the reason we utilize volunteers so much is the interaction. Fellowship missions, we believe that within the fellowship that happens, that's when life will change. Those connections happen, and yeah, individuals move forward. So we have food volunteers. We have overnight volunteers. We try to let our house managers get a break, because all of our house managers actually live at both homes. And then we have check-in volunteers that are just a couple hours a night, just from 6 to 8. We're not open, by the way, we are not open every single day. We're only open during the 24-hour period on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every other day, they leave at 9 a.m. and then come back between 6 and 8 p.m. That's our check-in time. Again, it's staffing, and just being able to manage all of that is a big undertaking. And we're learning. we were just at Faith Missions this week, and I kind of mentor with their director. He's a third-generation director up there, actually, and they still have issues up there, too. So just a bigger scale. They average 150 a night up there.
I don't know.
I have many questions, but one in particular. Do you work with the jail? How do you work? I'm on the Kosciuszko County Jail Board, and maybe I'm sleeping, but I don't know a lot of this. I know a little bit.
We don't work, great question. We don't work with them the way I wish we would.
You need to.
It's time.
Yeah.
I love going in there. There's a couple gentlemen that I go in and see. My wife and I have gone in, and we have our clergy cards. We can go in. Like Doug's story, I believe our society, once they get in that system, it's one of the hardest things for them to get out of.
Right.
And without a place for them to go, that's all they know. They know to come out and go right back to where they're, right back to the same situation. Their friends, their housing, that's all they can do. And without some place to go, people to be there, because I've talked, and John Bourne and I have talked a little bit, I want to be there in the waiting room when they come out. Hey, let's go grab a coffee. 1 o'clock in the morning, let's go to McDonald's. But but John does an amazing job in there. The jail ministry is awesome. But just an extension off of that to afterwards, and I know they do some aftercare, but for the housing side of it, to be able to have a safe place for them to go. Yes, I want to get in there more, because I know a lot of people inside the jail don't know much about us. I just haven't been able to. Time's one of the big things.
Right. Well, the problem I have with the whole jail thing is because when the people do get out, they've had a jail church in there, okay? And they've been fabulous to them. It's where do they go when they get out? Because
their influences around them then don't encourage them to go to church usually.
And some churches don't accept them. That's just the way it is.
Oh, yes.
Most churches don't accept them.
This isn't recorded, is it?
Well.
Yes, you're right. It is. It's an acceptance thing. Again, that label's put on them, and it's hard for them to get away from that. And
Also, do you have at your homes Bible studies or okay? And with the women and children. A big thing too I see is that, like you said, they don't get away from the people that they normally hang out with, and so that's a big issue. But is there care or going to the families that they're going back into, like a mother, a grandmother?
We have not done that yet.
I got so much to talk with you about.
We can meet. We can definitely meet. That's another thing, because we want to see them go back. There's a lot of families that are split up, divorced. The mother's divorced, or just something's happened in their lives that put them in this situation. Even kids, like I said, the 18-year-olds, 19, 20-year-olds, their family life has just been horrendous. One situation or one cause to another, but we want to connect with those parents as well to help mend that in some way. So
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of that we're trying to work on. It just, it's tough sometimes.
I just want to ask real quick, I know it's difficult to interlace with all the other agencies in the community, but
we are doing a better job of that. In fact, we have started with this program. We have brought on one gentleman. Actually, United Way helped us bring him on to do nothing but help me develop the program. Just, it takes too much time, and that's one of his goals, is to reach out to all the different agencies, and we're actually setting up contracts between them and different churches that offer recovery classes, things like that, because it's going to be case management where they're going to have goals and they're going to have markers to hit. I'm not a great speaker, but I love doing this because, again, education is a huge thing for the community, and I love sharing the stories about the individuals.
Do you find that with the women and children portion of it, that like the women are having trouble finding jobs because of childcare issues, or do you have something worked out for childcare?
We've had that issue. Baker right here has been awesome. So has the Y, to help us out some with that. But yet we haven't had too many situations. It's hard to. Right now it's hard for them to find jobs, even the men. But we don't have any place yet. That's going to be part of this too. They're looking to try to find some place to have child care. Like right now we have, between the 6 kids, it's 8 to 14. So not so much child care, it's after school care. You know, so Baker's great for that. And our biggest, that we're finding out, one of the biggest issues with the children, not an issue, just, obstacle is when school's closed. Mom still has to go to work. What happens? Because if school's closed, usually the library's closed, things like that. So just the logistics of that.
So you're trying to either figure out where a program is or start a program so the children have
we would love to find a program that's already in existence and help them out. You know, if there's a way that we can get a grant to help provide the child care, that's what we'd like to do.
Okay.
Yeah, down the road, you know, it would be great to have a facility that there's on-site space to have child care. Yeah, we'd love that, but that's definitely down the road. Anybody else?
Does what you're doing come under the title of the homeless shelter
Mm-hmm.
we've had in the paper?
That was us. Yep, that was us.
Well, I'll meet with some men on Thursday. We've been praying about that.
Appreciate that.
I'm sure that this is the same thing.
This is it.
See, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
What are some personal prayer requests that we could pray for you specifically, you and your wife, family, and you guys?
Just continued strength for us. Spiritual strength. It's a spiritual battle. But also just the safety of relationships, you know, because we do. I mean, it's a very personal thing when you dive into another person's life. But I also, we're to share burdens, right? Isn't that what he tells us to do? And I think that's what we're called to do. Also, there's a book I read probably 8 years ago called A Beautiful Mess, and a pastor out in Oregon, and that's what it's about. Each one of us has a beautiful mess going on, and we get so wrapped up in our own messes that we don't want to get any dirtier with anyone else's, but I can't find anywhere in the scriptures that tells us to run away from it. So, those are the prayer requests, and I didn't throw one out earlier, but there is a lady by the name of Connie that's right now in the ER. I was there till 2:30 this morning. She has MS and had a pretty bad episode last night at the girls' house.
You didn't happen to bring a letter that you read at another meeting, did you?
What now? I knew you were going to ask me. No, I did not.
Are all your days, the meals and the evenings, are all 7 days still?
No, like I said, we do 5 days because we try to have the residents fix the other meals, and anymore if we don't have, if nobody steps up and takes a spot, then we have the residents. We've been blessed with meat. If anybody has a deer, I lost my hunting spot yesterday. But Five Oaks there's a program called Hunters for the Hungry, and we actually received 26 deer last year. We did give some of it to Salvation Army, but we just ran out a week after season started. So I think we've gotten 6 in so far this year, but that's a great program. And it doesn't the hunter doesn't cost him anything. We also use it, something I didn't bring up, we do a meal, another serving opportunity, and I didn't bring this one up. I love the kitchens. I don't know, it traces all the way back to my grandmother's house on the Sunday, sitting around a big table, and just awesome fellowship happens. But we have a dinner called The Gathering that's usually the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month down at Center Lake, and we've used the meat down there. We average about 115 meals down there. It's for anybody in the community. It's been it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, we've used the meat down there. We have volunteers. We need volunteers down there as well. Fellowshipmissions.net. There's not a whole lot on there right now because we stopped updating it because they're redoing it. We have somebody that's actually doing it for us for free. It's been an awesome blessing to have. Anybody else? Let's see. We have actually had, there's been a small group adopted the men, and there was 2 different groups that, again, that's why my wife was supposed to be here, adopted the women, and a separate one adopted the kids. So, yeah, we're going to do, Christmas is fun. We enjoy that. It's amazing, though, we got the Christmas tree up in the guy's house before the women's house. But we have to go get one. We discovered something happened to our women's.
What do you need most, money or people?
All the above. We did send out a letter. I don't know if you should have received. Yeah, you received one. Just kind of shares what it costs to run. Money is a big one, and I'm terrible at asking for money, but it keeps the lights on, and we're trying to. Again, people ask, so did you find a place? We have 2 places, and we're running. I mean, it's not like we need to find a place. We could fill this room up if we needed to, but again, it's about more than just the bed. Staffing's a big one. Yeah. Staffing's a big one, but to get the staffing, a lot of times you got to have the money to do it. But we take volunteers. He's going to make you speak into that, whether you want to or not.
Do you have a place that you would like donations for, like with blankets, pillows, clothes, things like that, where you particularly want them to go?
You mean between which house or?
Do you have a place where people can take donations to for you?
We take them at both homes, either one.
Just take them.
Usually we have, we ask people to call us. Like I said, our website's being completely redone. Talking about needs right now, we've had a lot of blankets, quilts donated. What we go through the most, deodorants. Deodorants are a big thing, big item. Shaving cream, those are probably 2 of the biggest ones. Toothpaste, we got a lot of it up front. But yeah, just those are probably the 2 hygiene products, and women hygiene products. A lot of people actually leave those out. They forget about that side of it. And, yeah.
Like the paper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. We good?
Amen. Thank you. Can you hang around for a few minutes before you leave?
You betcha.
We have something for you, but it's not quite ready yet.
Okay.
So don't leave.
Thank you guys very much.
Derek.
The kids, Friday night, some girls got together. Friday night, some girls got together at Vargo's. Dawn Vargo spearheaded this whole thing, and we tied blankets, and the kids have been, like fingers have been flying in the last half hour, trying to finish blankets to give to Mr. Eric for the homeless shelter. So we would like to present these to you. You guys can take them, just take it over to Mr. Eric. The ones that are, some of them are not finished, and we'll have to get them to you like in a week. So, if there's a finished one,
I can tell you exactly who's going to get which one.
Is that one finished?
We just got him
oh,
some
not
boots
quite.
and
Okay, we have
heavy
to
socks this week.
Oh,
and
awesome.
he picked out camo socks.
Oh.
He's wore them for 4 days straight. So I know which blanket he's getting.
Laundry?
What did we do? So thank you guys.
Thank you.
We have bags for you back there.
Yes.
And Don,